Okay, we are live. I'm waiting for people to show up. I hope. Sometimes I have to restart this. I don't know why Facebook does this. Okay, hey Nick, how are you? You're the first one I see on here. Great. It's good to see you online. Okay, hey William, how are you? Let's see who else. Jay, Tanya. Hey Joe, how are you? Cynthia, it's nice to see you. I didn't get to call you out last week. Call out your name. Salvador. Victor, yes. Okay, Roxana, hello, how are you? Anderson, great. So let's see who else is on here. I said Tanya, Alexis, Bill Peck. Bill, I didn't get a chance to watch that mega thing you sent me, so I'll watch it after. Hey, Nick, what's going on? James, how are you? Hello. It's good to see you. Eric? All right, so we have a lot of people online now. Hey, Austin, how are you? Anderson, yes. Okay, before we start, well, we've already started. Now, Joey has been up in arms lately because he wants to explain what we're going to be doing. Okay, here's what it is. We are going to be in the next week or two always multi-streaming. It will be here on Facebook, YouTube, and we will start other platforms at the same time, kind of like playing two guitars. And so it will start to be MAB TV. The response to the show has been really great, and I'm going to continue to do it. Hey, JD, how are you? Death to meat. So that's vegan death metal, of course. Joey's, that's his phrase, death to meat. Well, being a vegan is supposed to stop you from killing animals. Kill them all! That's Joey. That's Joey's mantra. He doesn't care. Rip, tear, shred. That's what I have to deal with. And Robert is like silently going, yes. Yeah, see, he likes Joey. It's like, yeah. And so anyway, but what we're going to be doing is expanding because we cannot put on YouTube these videos in high definition. So we're going to start, we've experimented with it already. And Austin, who is online, has been a huge help, helping me out on this. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. Now, I also want to say, I did the shout outs. That we're going to work on. I'm going to talk a little bit about this guitar. This is the Sawtooth M24 Satin Black. It's the least expensive guitar on the line, and it's really great. And so if you go to the app, go DPS Music Live, and go download the app, everything is 20% off. I'm going to just play a little bit of this bad boy. I'm using my 40-watt tube amp of death, destruction, mayhem, the apocalyptic sound of doom. So, I love this guitar, the maple neck, the black, very simple inlay. So you've got your own road map, you've got your own GPS on the guitar, and the white pickups. Everything is stock here. Of course, one of my riffs. And I said this before, if you really listen to the way I play, I do something that a lot of guitar players don't do. Not that they can't, of course, a million guys could do it. But when I vibrato, there's a video where we do the song, Oh Well, the Fleetwood Mac song, and I get some really insane vibrato. But what I like to do is I like to do a pinched harmonic when I vibrato, and you don't hear that from a lot of players. hear it low, but you don't hear that. See, when I test out guitars, my song Peace, I have to hear. When I played Peace on No Boundaries, my first solo album, I wanted to get chills when I hit that note. And I achieved it for myself. Or when I did in No Boundaries on the studio version. That last note, I practiced pinching the harmonic till it was perfect. Listen to the album version. It gives me a feeling, and that's what people say, oh, Shredders, they got no feeling. David Gilmour! How many times could I hear David Gilmour? How about another guy? How about B.B. King could put more feel in one note? But this is an exercise role. I don't care. B.B. King can play that exercise with more feeling. Are you sure he could play that exercise? No, but he can play with more feeling. Exactly, okay? Exercises, music. It's hard to differentiate sometimes. We understand. Take your medication, calm down. David Gilmour is still here. And so, but the point is that with these techniques, I didn't just look at a technique and say, I'm going to stick this one in, Well, that sounds kind of, what? Shut up. And so, anyway, what I wanted to do is use the technique it's a means to an end. And the end is to create the music that I want to play. If I want to go, I don't want to do it all day. If I just want to do economy thinking and then bang my head, now do I have to do that? No. If you watch the old Speed Kills, I never used to move or make a motion. I'd be like, and then what happened is people said, Michael, you've got no feeling at all. So I started going, and then of course they said, dude, you know what that dude's looking like he's doing? Shut up. And so, you can't win. So anyway, I can do this all day. But the point is that turn your guitar for the right hand. My pillow rockers, what the heck are you guys talking about? Anyway, I'm a little crazy, I think so, but crazy in a good way, like a college graduate crazy. Anyway, but you want to know something? Because people make remarks sometimes, and they're flippant remarks, but I'm going to tell you guys two things about my life. One, I grew up in a family. My father and mother were together till they both passed away, till my dad died. Okay, my dad died first many, many years ago, over 20 years ago. And it was a one marriage. It was me and my sister. Now, my sister and I, we loved each other, but we weren't super close. You don't hang out. I didn't hang out with my sister, but I loved her, and I liked her. We got along really well. Never once in our family did we make disparaging remarks about each other. Like, I would never call my sister a disparaging or negative name, ever. My dad never said, you're stupid, you're this. We never did that, even in jest. I remember one time, Jim Gillette from Nitro and I, we're brothers. And I remember he called me like a funny derogatory name, meaning like I was physically handicapped. And I said, dude, don't ever do that. I said, see if you notice. But when people say this, I always think, well, how were you brought up? And when people say, am I crazy? Yeah, I'm crazy in a good way, because here's the other thing that my dad used to tell me. And I've said this in the live stream. He said, son, it doesn't matter if you're the most famous person or the richest person. Be happy. And you know what, everybody? I'm happy. I have lived 10 lifetimes. When you go to China once, it's interesting. When you go there 15 times and you are the first non-communist person to ever play on communist Chinese TV, you've been there, okay? I've been to Switzerland so many times I can't remember. The only things I really haven't seen are the pyramids in Egypt, the Taj Mahal, and I haven't been to the North Pole or the South Pole or Africa. Now, those are some pretty big things, but I've seen the Mona Lisa twice. I've seen the Leaning Tower of Pisa and done the thing so many times. So here's what I'm saying, guys and girls. You know, saying smart, flippant things is subjective basically to you. You know, you write stuff online, oh, I'm so witty and I'm so funny. Well, there's another side of it that, well, are you funny? I mean, and what's wrong with having a good time? Don't eat nothing! Okay, so I'm gonna shut up now. But that's the world according to Michael. That's why the way my temperament, my methodology, this is the way I think. I would get uncomfortable calling another person a name. I would. You know, unless they really had a comment. I'm not a wimp! I gotta do what I gotta do sometimes when I gotta do it. But for the 99.9% of the time, it's just not in my character or makeup. But listen to this guitar. This is how I practice. I'll do repetitive motion riff. Then bring it up. Then I'll also play rhythm. Just go green melody. I don't know the words. But I love green melody. I just like to sit there going. But I used to back in the day go like this. I'd be chugging it so mean, but I you know why? I used to hate when guitarists like in the 70s would use the wow. Whoops, what happened here? Sorry, I turned my tune on. You know, they were like. And I used to sit, are you guys insane? That to me is crazy. So I said to myself, I don't think feeling is in your face. I think feeling is in the notes. So I started literally, I mean, I played so many thousands of shows in my life. And when I was a kid, I played all the time, but I was like, see if I, and then especially, but I really made a concerted effort not to make a face. Now, what does this have to do with being quick and and maintaining your speed? Well, in a roundabout way, this is my thought process on things, and it has served me well. You know, I mean, over my lifetime, you know, when you get older, you know, you think about a lot of things. You know, I mean, when I was 25, I couldn't even think about being 26. It seemed like a lifetime away. Now a year is like very easily thought of, you know, and I think that's something that happens when we get mature. You know, we have years behind us, but here's the thing that I was going to tell you. Look at my hands. Now, the biggest difference between when I was younger, guys are gonna and girls are gonna laugh about this. I used to like to watch my fingers. Like if you look at Speed Kills on my original stocks, I had these long, slender fingers. And I used to like, they reminded me of just like this like robotic spider. My own hands. I used to really, as I've gotten older, I'm not heavy. I mean, I'm still thin, but you know, your body changes. But I've realized my hands are just as fat. I'm fat. They're just as fast. They might be fatter. And so that was a Freudian slip. No, your fingers are fat. I have gained some weight. Yeah, but you're still really fast. And so here's the point, that when I've gotten older, I'm very philosophical about the way I live and the way I play guitar. It's all interconnected, and that's the point of this. That to maintain quickness to me is a little different. Now, everybody can use these words. Quickness to me is not, it would be maybe like this. Just when you're recording, to be able to switch without going like this. Unless you want it like. See, to me that's quickness, that you have to shift your hand to be able to play that next chord without any break. And the speed part of it and the quickness go hand in hand. What I found over the years is this, the methodology that I use, first of all, it's in my head. It's a mindset. I truly believe in positive mental attitude. And I think of it, and I'm not, this is not my idea. This is an idea from Napoleon Hill and W. Clement Stone, people that I've dated with spam calls lately. And one of my rock star buddies, I need to get an app that just, anyway, enough of that stuff. But here is the mantra. Your attitude is a coin. You've got one side or another. If it's not positive, it's enemy, it's negative. So there's no gray in attitude. I kind of feel in a good mood. Why are you? Well, kind of. Why are you in a bad mood? Well, kind of in a bad mood. No, that doesn't fly. Are you in a good mood? Yes, no. Are you in a bad mood? Yes, no. So this is how I think. Positive, negative. Which one are you going to be? Then you start to think to yourself, guitar. Okay, what is the goal? Is it to have fun? Yeah, man, I have fun playing guitar. I love every set. You think I don't love doing this show? I absolutely love it. I have a guitar in my hand. Yes! Robert's like, yes. Rip, shred, tear. Now I could switch it. Now I have the clean side. Anyway, it starts with the attitude. Life deals you a lot of things. And, a lot of my, these lessons are life lessons too, because look I've been around a long time, but I'm not exactly super wrinkly. My teeth still look good. My eyes are really blue. They're not contacts, but my fingers work great. And here's the point. As a person ages, Phil Jackson, that used to coach the Chicago Bulls, and I love this guy, and they called him the Zen Master. And the one thing that he wrote a really great book, and he didn't make up this phrase, but there's two lines that he said that were it was so emotive and impactful for me. One, the reward is not just the reward is the journey. And remember that, everybody, because when you're going through stuff, like we all have periods in our life where it's rocking, everything is good. But then we have times in our life where you go, this is not, if you believe in God, God, why me? And then he looks down and goes, or she, why not you? What makes you think you're so special? And so, or you say, universe, why me? And the universe says, because we don't think you're any different than anyone else. We give that person a lot of BS too, and you're getting it. And the point is, all this stuff is out of your control. Well, here's something that's in your control. Playing guitar. And your attitude approaching it. I was watching, there are so many people that are really good players, really good musically. Talent will find a way, creative people will find a way to make music, but there's a difference. When you get older, you have to do what Phil Jackson said. Not only is the reward the journey, but he told Michael Jordan, and I've said this before, but it's worth repeating. Michael Jordan, when he came back, remember, I'm from Chicago, so at that time I was a Bulls fanatic. I don't really even watch sports that much anymore. I'm so busy. But at this time, the Bulls were life and in the 90s. And so they won 3 championships in a row with Phil Jackson. Then Michael Jordan went into baseball for a while. Then he came back. When he came back to basketball, Phil Jackson said something that was profound that all of you that are watching this can. He said, "You are not in your late 20s, the Michael Jordan, Air Jordan of 21 years old that can fly to the hole and dunk it meaner than anybody." He said, "You're not that player, but you can be just as effective." He said, as a person gets older, you have to adjust your game. So what did Jordan do? Instead of going to the hole like this, he developed that fadeaway where he didn't have to run full speed and knock down Shaquille O'Neal, who is younger, bigger, and stronger. And so what he did was Jordan created that fadeaway. So he would fake, move back, fade back, and just nail it. The point, and he was equally as effective. And see, so that's what I did. I can't, even though I'm thin, my face is thin, my body's thin, my legs are, I just put on stage clothes. I have a big closet I have 2 closets full of stage clothes. I have it's a lot of black. I have one color in my wardrobe, black. What do I have to do to color coordinate? Nothing. And so anyway, I was working on a video last night and I put on some of my old clothes, literally from 14, 15 years ago. I fit into them fine. So it's not my weight. Your body changes. I used to love watching my little computer spider fingers. Well, they're not that way anymore, but they're still equally as effective. I can still do everything I want to do. And this is what I do. Maintain quickness. Literally, I've said this before, you've got to say it over and over. Just take a clean sound. Do it methodically, like a classical guitarist. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. Now you've covered everything with your first finger. 2, 3, 2, 4. Now you've covered everything with your second finger. Then 3, 4. I literally do this. And I like to start upward. I literally alternate pitch, just go. Now, and I use a clean sound, not all the time, it's. But do you hear how clean and articulate every note is? Look at my hand position. Look at this. Do you see that? Do you see how Joey is? It's ergonomic. It's comfortable. Joey's not so, look it, I ain't gonna move and be like no blues guitar player and kill myself. I don't want to have a bad neck, it's a wrist. I don't care if it's a wrist, it's my neck. And so that's the point. When you play, look at that hand position. And you know what I like to angle a guitar upward? Watch Van Halen in the early days. This is so comfortable. And also I use a strap, and when I sit down, you need one of this. I have a Chromacast one. Chromacast is amazing. That's part of Sawtooth Guitars. I always use a foot pedal. I like to sit like a classical guitar player when I sit down. And the reason being is this. Watch when I stand up. No change. Now, hey, a lot of young people do this, and I know why, because you don't want to be like an older person. I get it. Okay, but hey, that's your life. And so, but anyway, so the first thing, see, I think about these little details, and I can tell you so you don't have to think about it. But one of the things that a lot of people miss are the little things that have enabled me to have this great career. Listen to my last album. I released an album last year called More Machine Than Man on Rat Pack Records. It's one of the best albums I've ever done. It's my 15th solo album, and it's different from my other ones. You know, people don't comment about how I can still sound like me but write really different music on each record. Listen to my album Intermezzo. It is just really orchestrated with guitars, beautifully written. The arrangements are intense. And then listen to my last album, More Machine Than Man. Completely different. You hear me because I have my own sound, but it's completely different stylistically and things. Every record I do, or you listen to Lucid Intervals, you know, where I'm playing Full Force. I don't know if you guys knew the song Full Force. And these are playthroughs that I'm going to be doing because I have a lot more time now that I'm not touring this year. Speaking of that, and then I'll get back to the exercises. It was very difficult for me not to be able to say that I'm not touring. And, you know, some people got really mad at me and they made it political, saying, well, if you're afraid of COVID, let me just tell you this. My ex-fiance is a doctor, okay? My dad had another great saying, son, have great doctors and great attorneys. I have both. I have doctors I believe in, not that I'm sick, I'm not, you can hear it in my voice, but if I need to go somewhere, I have a network of doctors that I've been going to for a long time that know me, that know what I do, and they genuinely care about my health. And just like attorneys, one of my all-time best friends, one of my guitar students back in the day, like Tom Morello, just happens to be one of the biggest intellectual properties attorneys in the United States. He's my bro. We go to concerts together. So if I need legal advice, not only is he amazing and an A-list attorney, he's my friend. And that's saying all this stuff. I set myself up in my life to be successful because I don't believe in the word, I don't like the word loser. I don't like the word I can't. You know, I don't like it when people say, like at a show, and getting back to the shows, you know, you write, I'm going to be playing here, and somebody writes, well, I can't do that because, like, I'm going to my cousin's graduation. You know what I think about that? Awesome. But you have just told me your thing is more important than mine, and you don't want to come to mine. That's a negative for me. So in my world, I don't even want to read that stuff. Just don't write. Don't go. If you can't go, look, I'm not saying what you're doing isn't amazing. And to you, it's more important, and I accept that. But you don't have to tell me what I'm doing is important. This is my mindset. I don't look at what you can't do. I try to figure out what you can do. And so, like with touring, you know, some people took it really personal that I'm not touring. Let me just tell you why. One, like I said, I'm older. And I just don't feel the world right now is ready for the kind of tour that I would have had to do. It's not playing. I would have been doing master classes in close proximity to people, then a show, then a meet and greet. It's just not ready. I thought, wait a few months till 2022. We could reschedule things. That doesn't mean I might not do an occasional show or two if it's close proximity. I'm healthy. I've been, you know, so I've got, you know, I don't know about the antibodies, the vaccination. And so I think you get the antibodies if you actually catch it, COVID. But the point is this, that was very difficult because I lived a tour. But the other side of it is too, I'm so busy, I'm not stopping playing guitar. And when I play, it's given me more time to focus on what I do. See, I've analyzed my fingers. I've analyzed my picking technique. Troy Grady has analyzed me to the nth degree. And so what we've all kind of figured out is this. The details are what's going to make you a better player. And see, for example, just by practicing something with a drum groove or a metronome, just going like this. Evenly, precisely, understanding, if you hear or and you're like, if you can play in the groove, it has to have a groove. Or, you know, like if you're playing jazz chords, here's a minor 11. Now here's an augmented 11th, really ugly chord. But then it resolves to. And so when you work on music and you work on exercises, what I do is this, to maintain quickness, I want to tune this because I beat the heck out of it. And these are, you know, non-locking. I don't have a Floyd on this. This guitar is awesome, by the way. And it's really economical. And it's 20% off if you get it through the app. And so, but when I practice, for example, like if I was going to do just something funny like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. I just make up this stuff, you know, twinkle, twinkle, and then I go, oh yes, an ethereal chord. I use that chord in the song Time Travel. That's the Steely Dan chord, like, oh yes, I'm so jazzy, I'm an elitist, oh rock and metal, oh it's so mundane, it's so mundane, it's so simplistic to the ear. Don't you know who I am? I'm a jazz aficionado. Jazz this. So, I mean, Al Di Meola doesn't even play a lot of riffs like a jazz player. He's just so good. You know, he does these 3-note per string and just tears it up. I love him. Yeah, I can play Al. And so, but the point is this. You have to start from the premise that everything you do is correct. Now, don't be like this, paralysis through analysis. I'm not a perfectionist. People can get paralyzed by their own ability to overanalyze themselves. I don't do that. See, perfection is not the goal. Just set a bar. You want to play really good. You know, I learned a long time ago that I'm not perfect. Okay, I've never been perfect. I never will be perfect. But I know I don't get bummed out if I can say one thing to myself in life, not just I did the best that I could do. And I ask myself that question every day, like if I'm working on a project, or did I do the very best? When I'm telling you this stuff, if you want to go in real detail, get Metal Method Speed Kills. My programs work. They will work 50 years from now. I've talked about this. My methodology is based on my music degree. Doesn't make me smarter or better than you, but I studied. Like they said in Ghostbusters, you know, when Dan Aykroyd looked at Bill Murray, he goes, "You never studied." You know, Gozer. I love that movie. But anyway, and then what the best thing I loved at the university is they said if they cut off the funding, they have to get a job that shows results. I mean, yes, I can be in a place where I just get money and never show results. You know, I don't know exactly what they're talking about, but I thought it was hilarious that, yeah, they're in a job where they're getting paid a bunch of money. You don't got to show anything. You don't got nothing to show. You know, and they were scared that they would have to get a job to show results. Well, guitar, you have to show results if you want to be good. But there's a lot of ways to be quick. Quick is like your hand speed. And so, like, even just like when we were in Nitro and doing Machine Gun Eddie. But do you hear how even that is? And then see what I do even with the over-under. I get a good. So what I'm trying to say is when I practice, I try to think some kind of tempo or a beat. I showed in a previous lesson a couple of weeks ago how I set up a simple drum program, start at 185, 190, 195, 200, 205, 210, then I jump to 220. And I figure after 220, if I'm warmed up playing 16th notes there, I can pretty much play anything. Now, you know, people say, oh, they can be faster than that. Hey, and more power to them. Yeah, I can play faster than that too, but it's not really necessary for, I mean, 220 is so fast as it is. You know, so you have to ask yourself, what are you in the ridiculous zone? And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, but Nitro Freight Train's 200, but it's just blistering. It's what you're doing at that tempo. So that's what I do. And when you play, and get my Metal Method programs, Speed Kills, I show all this in depth, but just things like this. When you see me play, look at this. Look at that hand position. I am not like this, and I'm not like this. Look at blues players sometimes. Look at that. Ow! 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 Look at that. Does that look? Would you walk down the street going, hello, hello, I feel excellent. I feel so good today. No. Who walks down the street? You want to walk down the street or walk somewhere with your hand basically like this. So when I play, look at that. Look at that. And so when I'm playing like this, I'm really going low, the higher I get. And also, I do little things like I keep my elbow closer to my body. Why? You have a rotator cuff here. A lot of drummers get rotator cuff injuries, so do sports. See, I minimize that by keeping my shoulder close when I'm playing. See, so my arm is out like this versus like this, because if you're like this, you're thinking about your wrist, you're thinking about your elbow, and now your rotator cuff. And if this goes, you're screwed. And so you've got to get it fixed. So I keep it close. Like when I'm playing my double guitar, if you ever watch, My double guitar is close to my body. It gives me an extra brace when I raise it. If I was out like this, I would have to use I would have to use biceps, triceps, your muscles in your forearms, and then I would have to use my rotator cuff to lift that guitar. That's a lot of strain. See, I lift it like this. And so I'm using my body and I'm pushing up like this. And so these are things that I think about. So when you're playing, just these simple exercises, you want to know what all you have to watch for? You keep your thumb behind the neck. You don't banana your fingers. And when you're picking, minimize the motion here. When you play slow, these are nuances, but when you are actually picking, then you go through all the exercises that I showed you. That's as fast as I go. But here's the difference. At first, it's right. See, that's the key to get speed and quickness. It's kind of like your body is like a race car. Maybe that's not the best metaphor, but a lot of people don't take care of themselves. And, we're all guilty of it too, It's like not brushing your teeth every night. You know why my teeth are white? Because I brush them. Hey. And I use an electric toothbrush. And so I take care of them. I take care of my body. And, stuff goes wrong all the time. And what you do is when you warm up, every guitar player out there, warm up at least 10 to 15 minutes before you start tearing it up. And the reason is this: that's when you can hurt yourself. Think of any athlete that just walks on the field and plays the game. None do. And then take it a step farther. Again, I'm from Chicago. And like I said, I'm not the big sports guy that I once was. But when I was growing up, sports were life in Chicago. I mean, the Chicago Bulls. I was a huge Chicago Bears fan. Walter Payton from the Bears. Did you know that he was one of the first athletes in football to train in the off season, and he never got injured when he played? And my dad loved him. My dad used to say, "Son, watch Walter Payton. Watch what this guy," they would show, like he'd run up these hills and he was strengthening. He was training in the off season during the time when all the other football players are drinking, getting fat and spending their money. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It just wasn't done back then. But the training is the key, and to train right. So this is what I do. And now I've said this before, but it's worth repeating because I do it myself. Sometimes I forget the very things that made me known and, a famous guitarist and be able to play the way I play. But, one of the things that I can do is I play slow really good. And you can watch it. And we've been putting these and I worked on my vibrato. I have different vibratos. Like I said, when I pinch a harmonic and make it, in my mind, it's like burns in your soul. That's how it sounds to me. And when people say, I have to admit, when somebody said like no boundaries, it's all speed, and I hear this part like, see, I nailed that note at the end. See, that's what I want. It's a sound. I said, what part of the melody can't you hear? I mean, listen to the rhythm of this. Let's make sure I'm perfectly in tune here. I've been beating this guitar up. And I actually lowered it to D. I was working on a session that required the guitar to be in D, so I was practicing this one in D, down a full step. But listen to No Boundaries. So now, with the timpani, I'm thinking, if there's not feeling in that, then what? What's going on with these people's heads? Or like I have a song called Science Fiction, or just Rainforest. It's melody. All right, I have melody, and then, my retort would be, but I don't write it. If somebody says all I do is play fast, here's my response that if I would write it. And somebody wrote same key, wrong. No Boundaries, the part that I played was in C. Well, actually, it modulated down to A. And Rainforest, it is an A, but the main riff is an E. And they're not, one's natural minor, the other. So anyway, yeah, I know. And this is, you have so many keys. But the point is this, that listen to the music, but the technique is there. I love the throw in cool techniques. I just love it. And it's not because I want to say, I'm going to do a sweep here. Like if you listen to a lot of my later music, I don't sweep as much. It was kind of like the earlier days for me. But when I do sweep, I said this, I practiced this 1,000 times. Every note rings out, or just something as simple like this. You hear how every note rings? See, I can play it good slow. If a lot of people can rip, tear, shred, but then you play it slow. And it doesn't matter what pickup, people say, the front pickup's easier than neck position. That's not true. There it is in the bridge position. To be able to play it that slow and that clean can set you up for playing super fast and super clean. So to maintain quickness, to maintain speed, first of all, I highly recommend this. Get speed kills. Go to metalmethod.com because, it's easy to say, Michael, you're doing this. I can't show you here like I can show you in an instructional program with picture-in-picture and tab printed out in a PDF format or on the screen. But it's the philosophy along with the practice that makes you you. And that is the key. It's like, I made some, not everybody makes perfect decisions, and I'm guilty of that too. I made some really bad decisions, but I've also had because I'm older, a lot of life-changing events, people that died, that unexpectedly, things happen. Look at COVID. I mean, I'm pretty much sure, unless you were a little baby at the time, nobody is alive that's ever experienced a pandemic. The last one we had is 1918, but here's what I did that a lot of people didn't do. When I found out about this COVID thing, like I'm no doctor, so I'm not trying to, diagnose anybody, but I asked myself, did we have another pandemic? And when was it? 1918, they call it the influenza. And here's what I was reading about it, the end of World War I. Millions, tens of millions of people died. Their immune system, the ones that were left, their homes were decimated. A lot of soldiers, it was a terrible war. Bayonets, gas. It was such a nasty war. Trench warfare, people's faces blown off, but they lived. I mean, this was like literal horror story stuff. And then the pandemic hit and people's immune systems were down. So death-wise, it was horrible. But it took roughly 2 years from start to finish. And so we're about a year and a half into this. And so this is one of the reasons, with touring and all that, I thought, okay, well, we know, people have lasted, the bubonic plague. I mean, we've been hit by a lot of stuff as humans over the millennia. So we've survived and we've got here. So we're going to survive all this, but it's got to kind of play itself out, and in life, a lot of things are like that. Like, you might want something today, or like you might buy something online, but it ain't coming until next week. And so, just things take the time that they take. But, we're not looking at an eternity here. And so, a lot of things factored into my, thinking about touring. And one of them, just the age. I know I'm well preserved for my age, but I am what I am. And I'm susceptible. And I'm susceptible to catching, even being vaccinated. I can be susceptible to getting COVID. And getting really sick. I know other friends of mine who are vaccinated, they didn't get COVID, but they got deathly ill from something else. It's just in the air for touring the way I would have been touring. Okay, now getting back to the guitar here. But see, I live guitar. My life is guitar. Everything is guitar. And everything is music, so it's all intertwined for me. And that's, if you get anything out of this program today, Metal Method is the culmination of its focused teaching. But the ideas behind that, I can tell you here. Now, as far as this guitar, I really love Sawtooth Guitars for every reason. We are the company that puts a German Floyd Rose, the best one on the market, on a guitar and sells it at an affordable price. And we engineer it better than everybody else. From the screws that we put on guitars, now I took this off, every little component we make sure is right for the guitars. And the people at Sawtooth know how to manufacture. They make fantastic products, and the price is affordable. It's that simple. And we come up with new things. Well, everybody's trying to copy everybody else with Fluence pickups, and there's actually a company that copied this and claimed it was in their line. And we developed the hybrid, and people said, it can't happen, or you use coil taps. We put humbuckers and single coils and left them alone and spaced them. You get more sounds out of these hybrids than any guitar out there. And here's the catch, they're real. So I even say you need a compressor to boost the single pickup volume up to a humbucker. They are different pickups. The output of a single coil is not as high as the output of a humbucker. We could have raised one and lowered the other. We could have done a lot of things. We left it true to itself. The hybrids are true to themselves. You have a true single coil guitar and a true humbucker guitar. No company has done that. And we made it affordable. We put the best Floyd in the world on it. And so this is what we do. And, and I just love it. Now, so you can go to the Godey PS Music Live, download the app. You can see a lot of content. The MAB band, we just filmed really cool playthroughs with this thing called a cajon, which is it's a snare and a kick drum, and you sit on it, and it's an acoustic instrument. The CEO, Joe, is just amazing at it. He's a great drummer, but man, he just plays the heck out of this cajon. And I played acoustic, so you're going to be able to play along with MAB on riffs that I came up with and different modes. That's coming out really soon. The All-Star Band with Vinny Appice and Rudy Sarzo and Melody from Lilia. We just released Neon Nights. And, Vinny controlled the grooves. And Vinny, on a few of these, wanted to play them a little slower, and I thought it was amazing because he's already done the hits, and we did our version of it, and it's just fantastic. Neon Nights came out amazing. Also, on my YouTube page, go to my YouTube page. We just did a really cool version of the Fleetwood Mac classic, Oh Well. That song's like, don't ask me what I think of you, I might not give the answer that you want me to. It's really a great song. And, just the riff. I mean, talk about how to use a blues scale. Great. And so this is the M24. It's in satin black. I love this matte finish. Look at it. It just looks mean. And look at the contours and the cutaways. 24 frets of doom, mayhem, death, and destruction. I love the black inlay, and the white pickups. This is 100% stock. Sounds amazing. I use this kind of as a go-to practice guitar because I can tune it up, tune it down. Like I said, I had it tuned down to full step because I'm working on a project with this band that they hired me to record, and so I have to record a lot of music, and then I take my other Sawtooth guitars and then have my tech go over them and drop them down, and then bring them back up to E flat. But anyway, I want to just say this. I want to thank each and every one of you. No, it's not low action. I do not like. Somebody wrote low action. I do not like low action. Listen, low action. Cannot get that sound. That's one of the secrets of my sound. My action's higher. You should see it when I'm in the studio. I'll raise the action where it feels like you need like a sledgehammer to put it down. If the intonation is higher, action equals. You don't want the strings buzzing on the frets. It's not going to sound good. Look, here's a perfect example. Now watch. Can't even hear a distinct note. All it is because it's buzzing on the frets. That's one of the things that makes my sound. It's not low action. You don't need low action to play fast. I want it to sound good. And so anyway, But these guitars are amazing. The Sawtooth guitars are amazing. Their quality control is great. And, you know, we have the products in stock. A lot of companies can't say that right now. And another thing they do is they actually make lefty versions of most of these guitars. So you can go to their website, sawtoothworld.com, or go to the app and buy a lefty guitar. They're made. We have them in stock. So many companies. I'm left-handed. Now, granted, I play lefty, but I play righty too. We are even, but they have the lefty versions. And I'm going to be demoing the brand new Sawtooth double guitar. We are getting 50 pieces in, a limited edition. This is the first time we've ever mass produced a double guitar ever. All the years that I've been playing the double, no company's done it. Sawtooth is the first. It is fantastic. It's got my mechanism that goes lock and load, baby. We have a lot of cool stuff coming out. So, you know, when people say play left-handed, I'll be showing that as well. But I want to just say this. We're going to be making the show bigger. We're going to be adding channels to this simultaneously so we can do high definition in other formats, so we don't have to do a lower res just on Facebook. But I love every second of this. I hope you get something out of this, because I live music and I have a certain philosophy on life, and I never tell you what to do. I just say, this is what I do, this is why I do it, this is what has enabled me to do the things that I can do today. That is my methodology. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to impart any kind of philosophy to you. I'm just here to say, these are the techniques. This is how you do it the correct way, and the music is up to you. So thank you so much. I'm Angelo Batio for Sawtooth Guitars, Chromacast, and Goatee PS Music. Thank you. See ya.